Right, in this video, we're going to look at essential grip and wrist exercises. It's a series of videos that I've done that look at different kinds of exercises you can do to improve your grip and wrist movements. So skill number one is a basic exercise. It's a backhand and forehand solo hitting. So let's start off with the backhand. First thing you have to do is find the backhand grip. And I go over this in a separate video on grip in my video library, but I'll just go over it very quickly here. So your thumb is pointing up on the grip and in line with the shaft of the racket. And then flip your racket over so that your knuckles are pointing up. That's the backhand grip. You should be able to see the back of your hand as well. So again, knuckles are pointing up, your thumb is at the bottom of the grip, you're using mainly the flat side of the grip, and your wrist is in hitchhiker's position, which is a 90-degree angle. That helps to give your wrist a bit of structure. So your thumb at the bottom is acting as a lever, so that's what you're using to push the racket into the shuttle. And then when you go to hit the shuttle, make sure you maintain that hitchhiker's wrist and your elbow is pointing up. This is crucial. And then this action, the hitting action, is supinating the wrist. So you go from pronation to supination. You're using the shoulder internal and external rotation to do that. So the shoulder here is in internal rotation, your elbow is pointing up, and your wrist is in hitchhiker's position. And then you're supinating the wrist. Make sure that your hand and your fingers are very loose around the grip. This is really important for all aspects of badminton. You should be able to balance the racket between your pinky and your thumb. So just practice that for a bit. And what I'm doing here is just showing you the springboard action of the thumb. This is what's going to allow you to feel the weight of the racket against the weight of the shuttle and vice versa. Very important for badminton and understanding how to control the shuttle. Okay, always keep your racket leg forward. Your arm should always be outstretched. This is how you play efficiently, so you don't have to overrun the shuttle. So racket foot forward, arm outstretched, and then you can start hitting. Always trying to keep that racket foot forward, moving on the balls of your feet, trying to keep the shuttle moving straight up and controlling the shuttle. That's the most important thing. Before you even generate power, try to control the shuttle. So I'm trying to hit the shuttle straight up. That's going to show whether I have control over my racket head or not. So again, I'm using my thumb as a lever. I'm contacting the shuttle above my shoulder. That's the most efficient place to hit the shuttle. That's where your shoulder can generate the most force. So in the load phase, your elbow should be pointing up and your racket should be pointing down. And then in the strike phase, your arm should be up and your racket should also be pointing up. So that's the other end of the spectrum. So from racket pointing down to racket pointing up. So the last few shots here, just take a look. And now we'll move into the forehand. As with the backhand, the first thing you want to do is find the forehand grip. So we start with the thumb across the grip and the index finger above the thumb. Your palm should be facing up because you're hitting the shuttle up, just like if you were to throw a ball up, you would have your palm up. And your hand should be very loose around the grip. Open your fingers around the grip and try to balance the racket on your index finger this time. So again, the index finger acts as a springboard. This is a good exercise to practice, just balancing the racket in your hand, floating it in your hand. So for this shot, you're going to use a little bit of shoulder and a little bit of wrist. So it's a combination of both the shoulder and the wrist. The shoulder guides the shuttle and the wrist and the hands sort of help to make the contact and add a little bit of that extra power. So racket leg forward as usual, and arm outstretched. That's the most efficient way to make contact with the shuttle. Never have your non-racket foot forward. There's never an instance in badminton where you should be playing a forehand, underhand with the non-racket foot forward. So always with the racket foot forward. So place the shuttle on your racket, balance it there, and then start hitting. Allow your wrist to bend. Make sure that there's a lot of flex in your wrist. Don't stiffen it up. You won't get good contact that way. You won't be able to feel the weight of the shuttle and the weight of the racket that way. So make sure it's nice and relaxed. Always focusing on the shuttle, always moving with it. The main thing here is trying to feel the weight of the shuttle against the weight of the racket. So being very loose around the grip with your fingers and your hand. All right, let's move into forehand and backhand switching. So just take a look at how I'm switching my grip from forehand to backhand, forehand to backhand. Let's take a side view. So thumb up, index finger, thumb. So make sure that you're flipping the racket. Don't use the same side of the racket face. Always flip the racket. So backhand to forehand. So place the shuttle on your racket and start hitting. Again, racket leg forward. Always keep active in your feet. Always moving around on the balls of your feet. Be light on your feet. Floating around. Racket foot always forward. And your racket head should be horizontal. So we're just speeding it up here. Make sure you concentrate. And slow it down again. So progressively start to hit the shuttle higher and higher as you gain more and more control. Again, as I said, for the backhand, your elbow should be up, your wrist in hitchhiker's wrist position, and generating more power. All right, so that's it. If you like this video and you want to learn more, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.